Hey guys, welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. This is Kneon, and my god, CBR is at it again. Geeky sent this over earlier today. How we got the Snyder Cut and why it won't happen again. You know, the media is really going all in on this Snyder Cut hate, and you know, we've seen this before. We saw it with the Joker. We saw it with, I guess on some level, with the Rise of Skywalker, walking back a lot of decisions made, poor decisions made, in my opinion, about The Last Jedi. And the media outlets, the pop culture media outlets, have become decidedly anti-fan over the last 4 or 5 years. It's absolutely insane. They go out of their way to antagonize fandom. They really do. And it's caused a hell of a lot of problems. It's cost a lot of movies and TV shows money because the studios tend to listen to these media outlets instead of listening to the consumers, listening to what the consumers actually want. And consumers have been asking for the Snyder Cut for years. They've been putting their money where their mouths were. They've been taking out billboards. They've been getting planes and the whole thing. Now, I'll be honest, I don't really give a shit about Justice League. I saw it, I didn't really care for it that much. I thought it had some good parts. I didn't think it was phenomenal. I didn't really look into the Snyder Cut a whole lot until more recently. I'm like, oh, there was a better movie? Well, that might have been cool. You know, it might have been cool to see that because the one I saw wasn't that good. But, you know, I have to respect the passion that has gone into this. And this has been a major victory, I think, for fandoms. I think we're starting to see the Uno reverse card being played in pop culture, where a lot of studios and a lot of publishers, a lot of game developers are going to have to start trying to win back audiences they've spent the last 4 or 5 years alienating. And the Snyder Cut is a good start. The media hates it, though, because the media has been behind a lot of the alienation. They've been the ones stirring up the shit, trying to pit the fans against the studios, trying to get the studios to listen to them and their hot takes and their opinions, most of them very political, over what the fans and the consumers were actually asking for. And now they're losing power because the money's running out. The venture capital is running out. The ad revenue is running out. And we're finding out that you know, a lot of the people working at these news outlets are basically activists who just want the platform to spout off about politics and how awful the toxic fandom is. Now, that's not to say that there aren't legitimately toxic fans, and that's true in any fandom. I guarantee you there are legit toxic Star Wars fans. There are legitimate toxic Snyder Cut fans. There are legitimate toxic Steven Universe fans. I know this for a fact. They actually threatened some people who worked on the show because they didn't get the ship they thought they should get. So there are toxic elements to every fandom, but they are by and large a very, very small part of fandoms. Most fandoms aren't batshit crazy, but these media outlets will zero in on 1 or 2 examples of bad behavior and paint an entire fandom with that brush, and then they'll go to the studio and be like, look how awful these people are. You really should listen to us because of XYZ reason, because the fans are horrible. And the studios, you know, they're coming around. They're like, we got to make money. So the Snyder Cut is going to be a thing. And they're already painting this as a victory for the wrong kinds of people, right? That the wrong kinds of people have now been emboldened because they petitioned Warner Brothers and they've acquiesced. And now because of it, the media is starting to freak out because they're starting to realize that they're not as relevant as they used to be. Multiple articles, multiple hit pieces about the Snyder Cut. Here we go again with Comic Book Resources. You know, we got the Snyder Cut. It won't happen again. It's not going to happen. So enjoy this one victory, fanboys. You're not going to get it ever again. It's not going to happen again. Actually, I'm going to disagree. Before we even start reading this article, I'm going to disagree because we saw the same thing happen just last year with Joker. The media tried so hard, so very, very hard to destroy this movie. And Warner Brothers told them to go suck a peach. They did. They actually wouldn't let the media ask Joaquin Phoenix any questions, or the director, Todd Phillips, any questions at the premiere. And they actually went out and did, I thought, some really great damage control and said, look, you know, you're turning this into a political argument. It's just a movie. It's a piece of entertainment. Most people can separate fact from fiction. They prepared for the worst. They were talking about all the violence that was going to happen because of the Joker movie, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So they tried right out of the gate to scare people into not seeing this movie when they realized they couldn't shame people into not seeing it. You know, don't go see the Joker because it's a very toxic movie. Don't go see it. It's toxic. It's problematic. Time Magazine. The Joker's problematic. The problem with Joker isn't its brutal violence. It's the muddled message it sends about our times. Don't go see the Joker, everybody. You should feel very, very bad if you go see it. Oh, this movie's just not... It's not going to make much money. It's just not the right time. And then when it became obvious it was going to make a lot of money, it was like, you better not go because somebody might do something crazy at the movie theater. Didn't keep people away. They went. And oh my God, look at that. Joker box office. All the records broken. All the records broken. Now it seems like a distant memory, doesn't it? That this was such a big deal just, you know, 8 months ago. Obviously the world is not the same place it was, you know, 8 or 9 months ago. But you know, this was a very real battle that the media was waging against the fans, and the fans won. Moviegoers won. Actually, most moviegoers didn't give a shit about what these media outlets like Vox and Vice and Polygon, what they were saying about the Joker. It just looked like a good movie. So we've got it happening again now with the Snyder Cut, and we're talking, this thing is like what, a year and a half, 2 years away. It's going to be a while until we get it, and they're already starting. You know, oh well, just because you won this one, fans, doesn't mean that, you know, it's gonna happen again. So don't get used to it. The announcement that the Snyder Cut of Justice League will be released on HBO Max got a lot of fans excited. After years of online campaigns, it seems their persistence paid off, which prompted many fans to ask for the original cuts of other films such as Suicide Squad, Dark Phoenix, and Fantastic Four. With fans calling for other versions of their preferred films, it's important to remember that this is an unprecedented move with the wild storm of circumstances leading up to it. One major factor leading up to this is Zack Snyder's own fan base. Since he came onto the scene, Snyder has had a distinctive style that many moviegoers grew fond of. His films tend to have stylized cinematography that results in plenty of visually stunning shots. Other than 300, I actually am not that big of a Zack Snyder fan, I'm going to be honest. At the same time, he has a lot more than his fair share of detractors. Yeah, a lot of people don't like Zack Snyder movies. I'm pretty indifferent. Watchmen, you know, being a bone of contention. I haven't seen Watchmen. I'll be honest, I haven't watched Watchmen because, and it's the same reason I haven't watched the series, because to me, it's like Watchmen was a one and done. It was a magnificent piece of comic book literature. And I'm sorry, you can't make a sequel to it. You can't make a prequel to it. I just don't think it works. You know, that's personal opinion. People are, I know they call me out on this all the time. Like, you just don't have a very open mind. I'm like, I'm just choosing not to see something because I don't want to have to like retroactively wish I didn't watch it. So they're talking about the divide between Snyder fans and, you know, fans of the current Justice League movie. This created the public perception of a large divide between Snyder's vision and the studio's vision. Yeah, I mean, look, for those of you who don't know, Zack Snyder had to quit. He quit because his daughter died, and it was horrible circumstances. They got the movie done, but it wasn't quite the movie that he had envisioned. And there were a lot of issues with the movie. It felt like Frankenfilm. Even watching it without knowing any of the behind-the-scenes drama, I'm like, God, this is kind of a mess of a movie, isn't it? You know, this is the Justice League movie. It should be like the Avengers, and it just was not that good of a movie. So clearly there was something else planned. The idea of excessive studio meddling was only further perpetuated when reports of massive reshoots for Suicide Squad came out. After the film's release, Jared Leto publicly expressed frustration since he shot a lot of footage that didn't make it into the film. Yeah, it wasn't a Joker movie. Plus, I think they knew the Joker was coming. So the Justice League on the horizon, fans believe that this cinematic universe had an internal conflict between Warner Brothers and the artistic vision of the filmmakers. This all came to a head when Snyder had to step down. Again, his daughter died. And it appears that fan frustration and loyalty reached a boiling point that Warner Brothers couldn't deny, hence the release on HBO Max. After this announcement, some moviegoers want original cuts of other films, but it's unlikely to happen. I actually do agree with this. This is a very unique situation. It's important to remember the main motivator in Hollywood is money. Well, it used to be. It used to be. Warner Media is putting a lot of money into content for HBO Max to acquire and keep a mass amount of subscribers. The Snyder Cut is a safe investment because it has a built-in fan base, and the $30 million it will cost is less than the $425 million spent for Friends. Additionally, the lackluster reception of Justice League derailed plans for the DCEU, and the Snyder Cut could get things back in motion if it's well received, including getting Henry Cavill back, which would be pretty cool. You know, hopefully he doesn't have the mustache. There simply isn't a large incentive for this to be done to any other film at the moment. When Disney bought Fox, they scrapped any plans for more X-Men or Fantastic Four movies that would take place outside the MCU, so original cuts of the less successful films seem unlikely. It's also important to note that the campaign for the Snyder Cut never appeared to include most moviegoers. It was primarily a vocal minority. All things considered, it's still a gamble for Warner Bros. No, it isn't. If it pays off, it could change how studios react to fans moving forward. But if it doesn't, chances of more cuts like this will be even less likely. This is what they do. This is what these outlets do. Now, they seem to be toning it down a little bit. I think they're getting some backlash from the higher ups. And you got to remember, comic book resources, these guys get paid like $5 an article, $10 an article, the most. And I'm not saying that they're wrong in what they're saying here, but the way they do it is just kind of like, well, they're just doing it this one time because of that vocal minority. And, you know, if it doesn't pay off, it's never going to happen again. The studios aren't going to ask the fans for their input anymore. Gosh, it sure would be a shame, you know, if all these people went out to see the Joker. I don't know how Joker's going to do because, you know, is there really, do enough toxic man babies really want to go see the Joker? I just don't think it's going to make that much money. I really don't. Just don't listen to fans. Don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about. The vocal minority, you should never cave to fans. Never, 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 never. Because if you do, if you give them what they want, they might come back for more. They might come back for more, and then what are you going to do? Make a sequel and make more money? We can't have that. Because then you're just going to pander to these fans. And you're going to keep giving them what they want, and they're going to keep giving you their money. And it's this vicious cycle of people giving you money for products that they like. And we can't have that because that's morally reprehensible. We can't do that. We can't. You know, Hollywood exists to edutain, mostly to educate. That's the purpose, the moral purpose of Hollywood. We can't just give people the things they want because then, you know, the customers are going to think that they dictate the marketplace. And that's just wrong. It really is. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up. We'll see how the Snyder Cut does. Guys, I'm telling you, if you were some of the folks that were asking for this, you better support it because it is going to determine whether or not the studios listen in the future. Absolutely. Just like Sonic did, just like, you know, some of the comic book projects out there. If you really want to see more of the entertainment that you like, you're going to have to support it when they give it to you. That's just how this works. So, but you guys know that. You've been watching this for a long time, been watching a lot of other YouTubers. You know the drill, right? So I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later. Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.